They are hugging me and telling me what a great job I did with the party despite everything she did to stop me. The atmosphere is starting to return to a celebration, but it is a celebration of the truth now. Diane is standing alone by the door. No one is talking to her or even looking at her. She is a ghost at her own granddaughter's party, and she knows it. Diane looks defeated now. She isn't shouting or making excuses anymore. She is just standing there, looking exposed and vulnerable. Ryan moves to my side and takes my hand firmly. He doesn't even look in her direction as he speaks to our friends. That says everything. He is choosing to stand with me. He is showing everyone that he supports his wife and that he will no longer be manipulated by his mother's lies. I am not done setting boundaries, though. This was the first step, but it won't be the last. I realized that keeping the peace only allowed Diane to cause more war in our lives. From now on, things are going to be very different. I looked at Diane one last time. I don't feel hate for her anymore. I just feel sorry that she was so insecure that she had to act this way. But my pity doesn't mean she gets to stay in our space. She has forfeited that right through her actions. I meet Diane's eyes across the room one final time. I want her to know that I am serious and that the games are over. This does not happen again, Diane, I say. There is no anger in my voice, just absolute certainty and strength. You will not step foot in my house or near my daughter until you can show me that you respect our boundaries. No more manipulation. No more lies. She doesn't respond. She knows she can't win this time. She looks at Ryan, hoping for him to soften the blow or defend her, but he just nods in agreement with me. She has no allies left in this room. She turns around and walks out the front door without saying a single word. The sound of the door closing is the most beautiful sound I have heard all day. It is the sound of a long and painful chapter ending. The air in the room feels lighter and cleaner already. I kneel beside my daughter and smile softly at her, smoothing her hair. Ready to blow out those candles now, sweetie? I ask. She nods, completely unaware of the storm that just passed over her head. She is just happy to have her cake and her family around her. That is all that matters to me in the end. I had to do this to protect her future and to make sure she grows up in a home filled with truth and love, not lies and manipulation. I light the candles again, and this time the whole room joins in to sing Happy Birthday with genuine joy. The song sounds louder and more sincere than ever before. My daughter makes a wish and blows out the candles, and everyone cheers loudly. I feel a deep sense of pride. I saved this day for her. I didn't let someone else steal the magic of her birthday or the credit for her mother's love. Slowly, the party resumes its normal rhythm. The kids are playing again, and the adults are talking about normal things. But the vibe is different now. People look at me with a new kind of respect and admiration. They understand that I am not someone who can be pushed around or lied to. They see that I am organized, strong, and capable of handling anything that comes my way. I have earned my place at the head of this family. Diane is gone, but her shadow is still there for a little while as people process what happened. But as the afternoon goes on, that shadow fades into the background. The party is a total success. The food is great, the kids are happy, and the memories being made are real ones. I can finally enjoy the moment without looking over my shoulder. I have won my home and my reputation back from the person who tried to steal them. Later in the evening, as the guests are leaving, Diane tries to approach me one last time outside. She is standing by the gate as I walk a friend to her car. She starts to speak, her voice trembling, but she stops halfway through her sentence. She sees the look of pure strength and resolve in my eyes and realizes that she has nothing left to say that will change anything. For the first time in her life, silence is hers to keep. I don't fill the silence for her. I don't give her an easy way out or tell her it's okay. It isn't okay, and we both know it. I just walk back into my house and close the door firmly. I am done being the one who makes things easier for her at my own expense. She has to live with the consequences of her own actions now. It is a quiet, powerful victory that feels better than any shouting match could. At home, after the last guest has left and our daughter is finally asleep, Ryan sits beside me on the couch. I should have seen it, Olivia, he admits, his voice full of regret. He looks exhausted by the truth. I should have known she was doing those things. I'm so sorry I let you feel like you were failing for even a second. I nod because he is right. He should have seen it sooner. You will see it now, I told him firmly. And I believe him. This wasn't just about Diane, it was about us learning how to be a team against outside interference. We are stronger now because we have faced the truth together and come out on the other side. Things won't go back to how they were. And that is a very good thing for our family. We are building a new dynamic based on honesty and mutual support. Weeks later, at another family gathering, Diane starts to speak. She begins to critique the way a cousin has set the table, her old habits trying to resurface. But then she stops abruptly. She looks around the room and sees that everyone is watching her with a knowing look. They aren't looking at her with admiration anymore. They are looking at her with caution. They are watching me instead, waiting to see my reaction. The balance of power has shifted completely and permanently. Diane tried to humiliate me and make me look like a failure. Instead, she revealed herself to be the one who was truly failing at being a decent person. I didn't have to tear her down with lies. I just had to let the truth turn the room upside down. I stand tall, knowing that I am the one who built this life with my own two hands. And for the first time in a long time, that is more than enough. I am Olivia Whitmore, and I am exactly where I belong. I am holding my daughter's birthday cake, and the candles are flickering like tiny stars in the dim light of the living room. It should be a happy moment, but my heart is racing for the wrong reasons. Just as I am about to lead everyone in singing happy birthday, my mother-in-law, Diane Whitmore, claps her hands together loudly. The sound echoes through the room, cutting through the happy chatter of our friends and family. Diane has a wide, sweet smile on her face that does not reach her eyes. She looks perfectly polished in her designer dress, standing in the center of the room as if she owns it. Before we sing, she says, her voice projecting to the back of the room, I think we really should thank the person who actually made today possible. My chest tightens immediately. I feel a cold sensation in the pit of my stomach. She doesn't look at me, the mother who spent weeks planning this. Instead, she gestures grandly at herself. I had to step in because, well, it was obvious that Olivia clearly could not handle the pressure of organizing such an important event. A few people in the back let out soft, sharp chuckles. My daughter looks up at me, confused by the sudden change in mood. My husband, Ryan Whitmore, stiffens beside me. Mom, that is not fair, he says, but Diane keeps going. Some people just aren't organized enough to be mothers. The room goes completely quiet after Diane's insulting comment. I can feel everyone's eyes on me. Some people look sorry for me, while others are whispering behind their hands. I set the cake down on the table slowly, my hands shaking slightly. I can feel the heat of the candles, but I feel cold inside. Diane stands tall and confident, looking like a queen who just finished a great speech. She thinks she has won. She thinks she has finally proven to everyone that I am incapable of taking care of my own family. She has spent years trying to make me feel small, but doing it on my child's birthday is a new level of cruelty. I scan the room and see our relatives watching and our friends whispering. Diane has been building up to this moment for weeks. Every time I mentioned a plan, she had a better idea. Every time I booked something, she had a critique. But what Diane doesn't realize is that I didn't walk into this party blind. I have been watching her too. I reach into my pocket and pull out my phone. My heart is still pounding, but a new feeling is starting to grow, a feeling of cold, hard certainty. If she wants to give the guests a performance, I will give them one they will never forget. She has no idea what I have found. Actually, I say, my voice sounding much calmer than I feel. I stand up straight and look Diane directly in the eyes. I planned every single part of this party myself. From the theme to the guest list, I did the work. Diane lets out a fake, high-pitched laugh that sounds like breaking glass. Oh, sweetheart, she says, looking around the room for support. We all saw the last-minute scrambling. We all saw how everything was falling apart until I stepped in to save the day. She waves her hand dismissively, as if my hard work was just a series of silly mistakes that she had to clean up for the sake of the family. A few people at the table nod their heads. They remember the phone calls I had to make yesterday. They remember me crying in the kitchen when the bakery said the order was canceled. That memory stings, but it also fuels my anger. I remember exactly who caused that scrambling and who tried to ruin my daughter's special day just to look like a hero. I am done staying quiet to keep the peace. I am done letting her make me feel like a failure in my own home. I look at my phone screen and then back at the crowd. Diane is still smirking, but that is about to change very quickly. I am about to show them the truth. As I look at Diane, I think back over everything that happened during the past month. It wasn't just one thing. It was a constant pattern of small disasters. First, the custom invitations I ordered never arrived at the guests' houses. Then, the magician I booked suddenly canceled on me, saying he received a call that the party was moved to a different date. Every time I got close to finishing a big task, it fell apart in a way that didn't make sense. I spent nights crying, wondering why I was so clumsy and forgetful. I felt like I was failing my daughter and my husband, and Diane was always there to offer a helping hand that felt more like a shove. I blamed myself for everything. I thought maybe I was losing my mind or that Diane was right about me being disorganized. But a few days ago, I started to notice things that didn't add up. Why would a bakery cancel a fully paid order? Why would the decorators say I sent an email that I never wrote? Now, standing in the middle of this silent room, everything is clear. None of it was an accident. Diane wasn't saving me. She was the one who set the fires so she could pretend to be the firefighter. I feel a wave of relief mixed with fury. I wasn't failing my daughter. I was being sabotaged by her grandmother. I turn my phone screen toward the room so everyone can see it. Does this look familiar to anyone? I ask. The image on the screen is a screenshot of a canceled order confirmation from the bakery. But I zoom in on the sender's information. It wasn't sent from my email address. It was sent from Diane's private email account. The murmurs in the room shift from judgment of me to confusion about her. People lean in to see the screen better, their faces filled with curiosity. The air in the room feels thick with tension as the first piece of the puzzle falls into place for everyone watching. Diane's sweet smile tightens until her lips are just a thin line. Her face turns a little pale under the bright party lights. "That doesn't prove anything, Olivia," she says, her voice getting sharper and losing its fake sweetness. "I probably just tried to fix an error you made. I was trying to help you because you were clearly overwhelmed." She looks at the guests, trying to regain her control over the story. But I am not letting her go that easily. She thinks she can talk her way out of one screenshot. She doesn't realize that I have a whole folder of evidence saved on my phone. I scroll to the next image, my fingers steady now. "She is right," I say to the room. "One email doesn't prove everything. So let's look at the rest of them." I keep going, listing the disruptions one by one as I show the proof. The cake order? Canceled by Diane. The decorations? Delayed because she called the shop and told them I had changed my mind. The venue change that almost ruined everything? That wasn't my decision either. It was hers. I show the call logs and the emails for every single problem we faced this month. Each line I speak lands heavier than the last one. I can see our friends looking at each other in shock. The room is filled with the sound of my voice and the low hum of people whispering as they process the information. Ryan's eyes move slowly from me to his mother. He looks like he is seeing a stranger for the first time. "Mom?" he asks, his voice barely a whisper. He sounds heartbroken and confused. Diane's voice finally breaks into a shout. "You are twisting things. I did those things to make the party better. You were picking the wrong colors and the wrong food. I was protecting my granddaughter's birthday from your poor taste." She is scrambling now, trying to find any excuse to stay in the right. But as I show the timestamps, her words start to sound hollow. Every disruption happened weeks before the party, long before I was supposedly overwhelmed. She wasn't fixing my mistakes. She was creating them before I even had a chance to act. The timeline on my phone is undeniable. I show the guests how Diane called the caterers only 10 minutes after I had finished my initial booking. I show how she redirected the flower delivery to her own house instead of mine. The whispers in the room spread like a wildfire. Diane's composure is flickering like a candle in the wind. She is no longer the confident queen of the family. She looks like someone who has been caught doing something shameful. I can see her hands twisting the fabric of her dress, a sign that she is losing her cool. Even her closest friends in the room are looking down at their plates. The evidence is too clear to ignore. I can see the realization hitting everyone at the same time. This wasn't about the party at all. It was about Diane wanting to be the center of attention. She wanted to be the person everyone thanked at the end of the day. She was willing to stress me out and confuse her own granddaughter just to get a round of applause. My heart is still heavy, but I am not finished yet. I have been holding this in for so long, and the truth needs to be fully told. I look at Diane, and for the first time in years, I don't feel afraid of her judgment. I feel powerful. I look at her directly, ignoring the guests for a moment. You didn't think I would fail on my own, Diane, I say simply. The room goes dead quiet again. You knew I had everything under control. You saw the spreadsheets, the bookings, and the payments. You knew I was doing a great job. I let the words hang heavy in the air. Diane scoffs, but it is much weaker now. She tries to look away, but I keep my eyes on her. I want her to feel the weight of what she has done to this family. You needed to make sure I failed, I continued. Because if I succeeded, you wouldn't have a reason to step in. If the party was perfect without you, you wouldn't be the hero. You were so afraid of being unnecessary that you decided to become a villain instead. Diane's face is now a deep shade of red. She looks like she wants to run out of the room, but she is frozen in place by the collective gaze of everyone she knows. I know exactly why she did this, and I am going to say it out loud, so there is no confusion left in anyone's mind. This was never about the cake or the magician. It was about power and who gets to hold it in this family. She wanted control. I say to the guests, turning back to the room. She wanted control over Ryan, over this family, and most importantly, over my child. Ryan steps forward, his face full of pain and disbelief. Mom, tell me this isn't true, he says. Tell me you didn't actually try to sabotage Olivia. Diane opens her mouth to answer, but she stops. She sees the phone in my hand and knows I have more. She knows that every word she says can be disproven in seconds. Ryan's voice is shaking. He has spent years defending his mother to me, telling me I was just being sensitive or that she meant well. But now he is seeing the cold, hard proof of her manipulation. Part of him has always known that she was overbearing, but he never imagined she would go this far. He looks at me, and I see the guilt in his eyes. He realizes that he let me believe I was failing when he should have been protecting me. I have proof of her plan that goes beyond just the vendors. I have the messages she sent when she thought no one was looking. I scroll to the text message thread that will end this discussion forever. I pull up a thread of text messages Diane sent to her sister. I project the text onto a small screen we were using for a birthday slideshow. The room gasps as the words appear in large, clear letters. I'm going to cancel the magician today, one message says. I'll tell Ryan that Olivia forgot to pay the deposit. He needs to see how incapable she is. Another message says, I've redirected the cake. When she panics, I'll bring the one I bought. I'll be the savior again. The cold calculation in her words is chilling to everyone who reads them. The gasps ripple through the room like a wave. Diane's face goes from red to a ghostly, sickly pale. She can't explain this away. These are her own words, sent from her own phone. She was bragging about her plan to humiliate me. She was laughing about making me cry. The cruelty of it is what hits everyone the hardest. It wasn't just about control. It was about enjoying my pain and my daughter's confusion. My friends are looking at her with total disgust. Even Diane's sister, who is in the room, looks horrified to see her private messages on display. There is no coming back from this. The perfect Diane Whitmore has been revealed as a calculated liar who enjoys hurting those closest to her. My voice shakes slightly as I speak the next part, but I don't stop. Do you know how it felt, Diane? Do you know how it felt to look at my daughter and think I was failing her on her birthday? I can feel the tears starting to sting my eyes, but I don't let them fall. I spent nights wondering why I couldn't do anything right. I apologized to Ryan a dozen times for messing up the bookings. I felt like a terrible mother because of you. I want her to understand the emotional damage she caused, not just the logistical problems. The room softens toward me immediately. My friends move closer, and some of the relatives are nodding in sympathy. For the first time, they are seeing my side of the story, clearly. They see the months of stress and the toll it took on my mental health. They see that I wasn't the disorganized one. I was the victim of a long, cruel game played by someone I was supposed to trust. But I am not just a victim. I am the person who paid for this party, and I am the person who is going to finish it. There's still one more document I need to show everyone to prove that Diane's help was never needed and never real. I open another document on my phone. It is a folder full of invoices and bank statements. Everything Diane claimed to fix. I had already handled and paid for in full, I say. I show the receipts for the original magician, the original cake, and the original venue. I show the bank transfers that happened weeks ago. Every single thing Diane said she bought at the last minute was actually something I had already secured with my own money. She didn't contribute anything but chaos to this entire event. She didn't spend a dime of her own money. She just canceled my orders and used the refunds or her own influence to put her name on the new ones. She was using my money and my hard work to buy her own reputation as a helpful grandmother. The room is silent as they look at the numbers and the dates. It is a financial twist they didn't expect. She wasn't even a generous grandmother. She was a thief of credit and a fraud. People are shaking their heads now. The realization that she created the problem just so she could solve it is finally sinking in for everyone. They see her as a complete fake. She needed to look like the savior, I say, my voice growing stronger with every word. She created the problem so she could solve it and make me look like I couldn't survive without her. The realization hits the room hard. Everyone can think of a time Diane saved someone in the family. Now, they are all wondering if those problems were real, or if she created those too. The trust in the room has completely evaporated, replaced by a deep suspicion of everything she has ever done. Diane looks around the room, but no one will meet her eye. She has lost her audience entirely. The people she tried so hard to impress are now looking at her with pity and judgment. She is no longer the center of attention in a good way. She is the center of a scandal that will be talked about for years. I can see the fear in her eyes now. She realizes that her social standing in this family is gone forever. Ryan is standing right next to me, his hand on my shoulder. He isn't looking at his mother anymore. He is looking at the floor, his face filled with shame for ever doubting me. The shift is complete. Ryan finally looks up and turns his gaze toward his mother. He doesn't look angry anymore. He just looks empty and tired. "You let me think she messed up, Mom," he says quietly. His voice is so low that the whole room has to strain to hear it. "You let me believe my wife was struggling when she was actually doing everything right. You lied to me for months about the person I love most." Diane opens her mouth to respond, but nothing comes out. For the first time in her life, she has no clever comeback. The trust is breaking in real time. Ryan steps away from her, moving closer to me and our daughter. It is a physical move that says everything to the people in the room. He is choosing his family over his mother's manipulation. Diane looks like she has been hit by a physical blow. Her power over him was based on the idea that she was the only one who truly cared about his success. Now he sees that she was the one trying to sabotage his happiness for her own ego. The silence in the room is deafening. Diane's authority has completely vanished, and she knows it. I take a deep breath, feeling the weight of the last few months finally lifting. "There's one more thing," I say. The room stills once again. Even the kids have stopped playing in the corner. Everyone knows that the final blow is coming. Diane looks at me with pure terror. She knows what is on my phone, and she knows she cannot stop me from playing it. I hit the play button on a voice memo, and the room prepares for the final truth. A few weeks ago, I caught Diane talking on the phone in the kitchen when she thought I was at the store. I recorded it because I needed to know if I was losing my mind. Now, her own voice fills the silence of the birthday party. It is clear and sharp, with none of the sweetness she usually uses. "Olivia needs to look incapable," Diane's voice says through the speakers. "It is the only way Ryan will finally see that she isn't the right fit for this family. I'll handle the vendors. He'll think she's just a mess." The recording ends, and the room feels like it has frozen over in shock. The recording is the final proof that no one can argue with. There is no denying it now. Diane's voice was cold, calculating, and full of malice. She wasn't just trying to help. She was actively trying to destroy our marriage and my reputation. She wanted Ryan to leave me so she could have total control again. Ryan steps back as if he has been physically struck. He looks at his mother with pure horror and disgust. The guests are whispering loudly now, and the word evil is being used by more than one person. Diane tries to recover one last time, her voice trembling. It was taken out of context, she shouts, but it sounds desperate. I was just venting to a friend. You are invading my privacy. But no one is listening to her anymore. Her excuses are meaningless in the face of such clear and intentional cruelty. Her image as the perfect, caring grandmother has been shattered into a million pieces on the floor. She is exposed for exactly what she is. Everyone is watching her, not as a leader, but as someone who tried to ruin a family from the inside out. Diane tries to stand her ground, but she looks much smaller than she did 10 minutes ago. She tries to glare at the guests, but they all look away, refusing to acknowledge her. Her authority is gone. Her image is cracked beyond any hope of repair. She realizes that she is no longer welcome at this party or in our lives. I don't have to say another word to prove my point. The truth has done all the work for me. I watch her as she realizes the magnitude of what she has lost today. She didn't just lose this party. She lost her son's respect and her daughter-in-law's silence. She lost the trust of her friends and the love of her granddaughter. She tried to humiliate me, but she ended up humiliating herself in the most public way possible. The room has completely turned against her, and she is standing alone in a crowd of people. I feel a sense of peace that I haven't felt in a long time. The perfect Diane is gone, and the truth has taken her place. I don't raise my voice when I speak next. I don't insult her or call her names. I don't need to do any of those things. I just look at her and say, I deserved respect, Diane. My daughter deserved a birthday without your drama, and Ryan deserved a mother he could trust. It is simple, firm, and final. Heads nod all around the room in agreement. People are finally seeing me as the person I am, someone who is strong enough to stand up for herself and her family. The room has shifted completely. People are coming up to me to apologize for believing the lies she told.